What's going on, guys? This is VinylicPuma, and it is finally here. Borderlands 3 just got its reveal trailer to come out today, and I figured that what I would do is I would go over some of the new guns and weapons in the trailer. Now, before we start, this video is going to be a little more, or I guess a little less, actually, scripted than my normal videos, and so if I and a lot, well, now you know why. Also, I've got like 70 different pictures here, so there is a whole lot to go over, so be sure to stick around, and also be sure to hit that like button, and failing that, at least hit the like button for Maya here. It's great to see her back in Borderlands 3, and I hope we see Axton and Gage, because I don't think they were in the trailer. Feel free to let me know if you saw them in the comments, but otherwise, we'll just go ahead here and get into some of these pictures, starting with this first one. Okay, so we've got all of the 4 new Vault Hunters here. It looks like the one that's kind of like the Commando has a Jacobs weapon. You've got the new guy that's got a revolver, and you've also got the new Siren, and it looks like she's got a shotgun. I can't really tell what the Beastmaster has, but the guns look kind of cool. Now, you're going to see the Siren a lot more in a lot of the gameplay, so what you're seeing here is, it looks like she's got a Jacobs revolver, and she's just kind of holding it and aiming it. Now, this next picture features the Specialist, who I guess is showing his action skill, but if you look at the Siren again, you can kind of see here that she's got like this corrosive laser weapon, and it looks pretty cool. Another one here of the Siren again, and this actually looks like a bandit spinny gun. I'm not actually sure if it's a shock weapon, because if you look at like the actual like muzzle flash on the gun, it looks like it's just like a regular muzzle flash. So maybe there's something weird going on here, or maybe all of the muzzle flashes are identical in Borderlands 3. It's kind of hard to say, but it definitely does look interesting. So here's the Beastmaster, and my guess is that this is a Vladoff weapon, because it kind of looks like an AK, and it's got that drum mag, so that would be my guess on this particular weapon. This next one is for the Beastmaster again, and it looks like he's either got an assault rifle there, or maybe a shotgun. What I can definitely say is that it does look like a Jacobs. Here's the Specialist again, and it looks like he's got a spinny gun, and there's somebody behind him on like a motorcycle. This looks like the character from the Borderlands 3 tech demo from GDC a couple years back, and it looks like she's got a shotgun, but what really interests me is if you kind of look up and see that there's like a female psycho coming after her, and you can also see like there's a gun there on her back, and that looks like a sniper rifle with like an RPG attachment or something. So this is one of the running animations for the guns, and this looks like a Malawan laser. This next one looks like a Torg rifle, because you can kind of see like the little lights on there. They're yellow, and I'm going to assume it's Torg. This is a really nice shot, by the way, with this like Children of the Vault. You've got another spinny gun here. I'm not sure if this one is Vladoff, but this picture is really interesting to me because it kind of reminds me of something that you might see out of the Metro series, particularly with those like glowing iron sights. Here's another Vladoff rifle, and this definitely looks like an AK from this angle. Another running animation again, but still, it looks really cool. Here's another one for the Specialist, and it looks like he's got like a shock Hyperion sniper or something in his hand, and it looks like he's running towards something. Now, here you have this like giant skull thing that's shooting like buzz axes at the Vault Hunters, and the picture's kind of small, but I think everybody's got like lasers and maybe shotguns and stuff. It's kind of hard to tell. Here's a really good action shot where you've got all of them. They're kind of being onslaughted by Varkids, and you'll notice that the female like Siren or whatever, it looks like maybe that's like a Tediore weapon. It looks like the Specialist character's got like a flamethrower or like flamethrower attachment or something going on there. And then of course you can see in sort of the back that that girl from the GDC tech demo is still there, and there's that. Here's one of the Beastmaster, and it looks like he's got maybe a Vladoff weapon or something in his hands, and he's attacking that huge like skull thing. Now, this one is really cool. It doesn't necessarily show a weapon per se. I mean, if you really zoom in, you can kind of see that the Malawan soldiers have like SMGs and stuff, but I just thought that this like mech suit looked cool. I think it's just an enemy, but it would be really interesting to actually use that in game. And then, of course, you have two of the original Vault Hunters here. You've got Brick and Mordecai. And then, of course, you've got Tiny Tina in front of both of them. And you've got Mordecai Sniper there. And it looks pretty beefy and looks pretty cool. Can't tell what manufacturer it is, though. Here's one of all of the new 4 Vault Hunters. Mainly, you could see that the Siren, I think the Specialist, and the Commando type all have pistols. And what's kind of interesting is that they have suppressors on their pistols. And then, of course, you can kind of see in the background, there's the Beastmaster there with what looks like a Jacobs rifle. Here's the over 1 billion guns part of the trailer, and you can kind of see at the bottom there that there's a Jacobs sniper. And then going on to this next one here, which is basically the same thing, you can see a bunch of purples, greens, and blues. So this one is really interesting. It's like a walking SMG or something. You can kind of tell it's an SMG because it's a little more compact and it's in a bullpup configuration. But in the trailer, it's actually walking and shooting. So this might be a gun, maybe from TDR, that you throw when you reload it. And then, of course, it walks towards people and just kind of shoots and deals damage, which would be kind of cool. Now, you're going to have to excuse me for some of the YouTube overlay here. I wanted to get this out a little bit quicker, but as you can see here, this looks like either a dull assault rifle or maybe a dull sniper, but it looks like it's fire and it's dealing some fire damage, and of course you could see those damage numbers there. Here's a Malawan laser, I guess. This thing is really kind of neat, and in the trailer you can kind of see the beam. It's actually kind of reminiscent of the pre-sequel beam lasers that dealt that continuous damage bonus. My guess is this is a shotgun, but we'll move on to the next one. This one looks like an SMG. Maybe it's Hyperion, or maybe it's Doll, or maybe I'm confusing that grip with a Hyperion grip from Borderlands 2. What is kind of interesting is you'll notice that there's a suppressor on the end, and I guess all of the weapons in this game can have suppressors, and maybe that has special effects on the guns you can obtain in game. Here's a shotgun, which is kind of interesting because it's a pump action. I'm not sure what manufacturer this is. Maybe it's Jacobs, but either way, this is still really cool, and you can kind of look at this cool gas station as well. So this one is kind of interesting. It is a white pistol, and my guess is it could be an Atlas pistol, or maybe it's just some generic one from Doll or TDR or something. Here's one that I definitely think is a Doll pistol because it looks a little more modern, and I guess for the site, maybe it's Bandit or maybe it's Doll, who the heck knows. Now, this one is really cool. It looks like a Vladov rifle of some type. I'm not sure if it's a sniper. I don't remember when I was trying to get these pictures if that red beam is coming from the weapon itself, but if it is, I mean, that would be like a laser, but either way, it's still pretty cool. This one definitely looks like another rifle. You can kind of see that the character is trying to put a magazine into the gun, and that bullet looks really huge. This gun is kind of interesting. It's got a really blocky design. I'm not sure if it's a Malawan weapon or if maybe it's an Atlas weapon. It looks totally new, but either way, it still looks really cool. Here would be a running animation for a Malawan laser or some other type of laser. This one's really cool. It looks like a variation of that pump action we showed earlier, but you have a different grip at the bottom. So it looks like you'll physically push and pull it forward or whatever. So that's kind of nice. And actually that scope on there kind of reminds me of something you might see out of Borderlands 1, which again, it looks like this game is borrowing the aesthetics from the first Borderlands as well as Borderlands 2 in the pre-sequel. Now, I'm not entirely sure what this thing is. My guess is it's maybe a sniper or it's like a rifle of some type. It's got some fins on the end, which could mean that it's like an E-Tech or something. But I will say that it is kind of cool to see that bandit jumping up and trying to attack you. Here's another one. I'm not sure what kind of rifle this is. Maybe it's from Torg or something. It might be even a fire elemental weapon, so I could be totally wrong entirely. But it is kind of cool that you're getting that drum mag there. Now, I'm not sure what this one is. Maybe it's Atlas because it's kind of got that white aesthetic. But it does look like it might be an explosive weapon based on some of the goldish yellow coloring on there. Now, this one I'm pretty sure is a Malawan weapon of some type, whether it be an SMG or a rifle of some type, but you can definitely see that there is a suppressor on it. So this one is really interesting. It looks like a shoulder-mounted rocket launcher of some type, and as you can see, it's being fired and hitting the car behind some of the enemies. This one is really weird. It looks like you can kind of see that there's like an RPG on the end, and maybe this is like a melee attack that the player is performing or something. But still, it looks really cool, and as far as what the weapon is, maybe it's like a rifle or a sniper of some type, but it is still kind of hard to tell. Here's another one of those shoulder-mounted rocket launchers. This one might be from Bandit, but again, it's kind of hard to tell. This one I would say is definitely a Hyperion SMG of some type. You can really tell because of that whole yellow aesthetic. And as far as what element it is, I'm not sure. But what I will say is really cool, if you kind of look towards like the side of the gun, you'll notice that it has an ammo counter there, similar to what you might see in Halo. This one is kind of neat. It looks like a pistol that shoots laser rounds, and I'm not sure who would make it. Maybe Malawan, but it really could be any manufacturer. My guess is this one is a rocket launcher of some type because you're seeing rockets move away from the player, but it is kind of interesting that it has like an elongated barrel on it. This is another really weird one. It looks like it's like infected or something. It looks like it's got some living thing on it, and it may actually be a cryo weapon of some type because of that whitish beam. Here's another corrosive Vladov sniper, and this one's really cool because you can kind of see how the amount of ammo in the gun is displayed on it, and it's also kind of neat to see the player's like watch there too. This pistol design really looks like something that you might see out of Borderlands 1, and it kind of looks like a repeater pistol. This one looks like the running animation for a Torg rifle or some kind of Torg weapon, and it is kind of cool because the sight on it looks like a Torg sight from Borderlands 2. This one looks like more like a rocket launcher, and you can kind of see that it's got that elongated barrel again, and you can sort of see this time that rocket projectile, and it's a yellowish color. So that could be a new element, or it's just pure explosive. This was another really interesting part of the trailer. You can kind of see it looks like you've got this force field up while you're aiming down sights. So maybe this is a legendary of some type or something else. But what I would definitely say is that it is most likely an SMG. Now, this one is another really interesting picture because it does look like it's an assault rifle, and you can kind of see the combining and I guess maybe contrasting of the original designs for Borderlands 1 weapons and Borderlands 2 weapons, because if you look to the right of the gun, that kind of looks like the damage accessory for assault rifles, while when you look to the left of the gun, you can kind of see that tube going up, which reminds me of something that would come out of Borderlands 1. As for what manufacturer this thing is, I have absolutely no idea. This one I think we can definitely say is a Jacobs pistol. It is kind of cool to see like little bullets on the side of the gun, so that's kind of neat. Here's another shoulder-mounted rocket launcher. Maybe this one is from Vladov because it's kind of got that black and red aesthetic. So this next weapon looks like a white rarity rifle. Maybe it's from Vladov because you can kind of see it's got that AK-inspired design, but who knows? So this next weapon is a pistol, and it looks kind of crude, so maybe it could be a bandit weapon, or maybe it's a weapon from a new manufacturer, but because of that little blue light, I think it is most likely a shock pistol. So this is another shotgun would be my guess, and it kind of looks elongated, and it looks like it's got a really thick barrel. I'm not sure if this shoots like a specific new round or something, but either way, it looks really cool. I'm going to try to cut back a little bit now on saying really cool or cool throughout the video, but it's still really cool. This one is another assault rifle. You can kind of see it looks like it's got that damage accessory on the right from Borderlands 2. The scope looks like it could be something from TDR because it's a little more boxy, and it's got a long barrel, so my guess is it's an assault rifle, but then again, I could be proved wrong and it's actually a sniper or something. This one I would have to say is definitely a Jacobs rifle. Now, I'm not really sure what this one is. This one might be a flamethrower or something. You could kind of see some tubes and like a little like igniter thing or valve really kind of towards that lower right portion of the picture. But again, who the heck knows? Also try to cut back a little bit on saying who knows. So this one I think we can definitely say is a Torg weapon of some type because it literally says explosive on it. Other than that though, I'm not sure what weapon type it is, though I would lean towards more of like a rifle or something like that, simply because you can kind of see that there is a rail on it that you can attach maybe a sight or scope. This one definitely reminds me of a doll pistol or something from Borderlands 2 because of that like quasi-camouflage look. This one is really interesting. If my memory serves me correctly, I think this one like shoots little fireballs in the trailer for like a split second that it shows up. Now, this one is kind of weird because it doesn't even look like it's got a barrel. Maybe that's just like the perspective while you're holding it, but this one definitely does look like a revolver of some type. Maybe it's from Bandit or maybe it's from Jacobs. So here's another really cool weapon, as it sort of reminds me of the ZX-1 from the pre-sequel. If you watch the trailer, you'll notice that those like little fire projectiles it's shooting will actually seek out and home in on enemies, which is really neat, and it would be cool to see the ZX-1 return in this form, or it's just maybe a generic weapon that you can get literally anywhere. This looks like another like maybe bandit weapon of some type, but again, it's another running animation, so it's kind of hard to get a good look at it. This one is definitely a Torg rifle or Torg weapon of some type, so we'll just move on to the next one. This one, again, looks like a Hyperion SMG, and that's because it looks a lot like the weapon that we saw earlier, so that's going to be my pick. This one definitely looks like something from Bandit. It's got really like a lot of cool gadgetry on it, and it looks like it was kind of cobbled together from spare parts. Here's another Hyperion SMG, and it looks like the player is taking on some kind of boss. Here's another pistol that looks like some of those ones we saw earlier, but it's shooting what looks like a corrosive projectile. Here's another shoulder-mounted rocket launcher of some type, and again, it's kind of hard to tell what manufacturer it is. This one is definitely a TDR rifle because it literally says TDR on it. This one looks like a doll rifle because it's kind of got like a camouflage pattern on it, but maybe it's also from a new manufacturer. And then, of course, we've got our two final pictures here, and you can see, like, the one that's the most obvious and that pops right out to you looks like a Hyperion SMG. And then, of course, this next picture, which we'll cycle to here, it looks like it's dropping another Jacobs pump-action shotgun, maybe another Hyperion SMG, and then, of course, some other weapons, sort of various rarities, are just scattered about. Otherwise, guys, I think that's going to wrap up this particular video. The new Borderlands 3 trailer is out. I'll link it in the description if you haven't seen it yet somehow, but I may make some more Borderlands 3 trailer-related videos, so be sure to stick around. And as always, guys, be sure to like this video if you liked it, like it for Maya if you didn't like it, and also click the bell so you can be notified when I upload more videos. And as always, and again, thank you all so much for supporting this channel. Take care, and I'll see you all in the next one.